Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live here in UFRL for Tier 1, and we are at the Might of Spa, massive track this one, amongst the longest circuits, but also a very quick circuit as well. So let's head straight into things as we head into short qualifying, followed by a sprint, and then followed by the 50% race. How will this one go? Is the key question. Well, fingers crossed, it will go pretty well tonight. The grid is on there for you to see as well. In the Red Bull, it will be Lynx alongside the reserve tonight, the Tier 2 leader, Filthy Ghost. At Team Mercedes, it will be Kennedy. In the Aston Martin, the reigning champion, Mr. Poem, alongside Steelane. In the McLaren, your championship leader, Pesci. And he lines up alongside Wizard Rex. In the Alpine, it will be the partnership, the Dutch partnership of Tajani and Coffee. In the Williams, it will be the international tier runner-up and the 100% tier champion of last season, Merck, alongside Tabo. In the AlphaTauri, it will be Rusted Bolt, alongside the man occupying second in the Drivers' Championship, that is Hazer. In the Alfa Romeo, it is Destroyer Drac, and in the Haas, it will be Judge Santi. Let's go straight into qualifying then. Hopefully, it will be a good one. Make sure we can hear ourselves as we can, so it is all good. And let's go. We are on with the AlphaTauri of Hazer. He will be the first driver to set a provisional lap. So let's see what he can do. And just a reminder that as well, something that will be important as Coffee has retired. Did he have a qualifying ban to serve? I do believe Coffee may have had a qualifying ban to serve, in fact. That is why he would have done that. But let's stick though with the AlphaTauri of Hazer and just see what lap time he can set himself. I'm sure he'll be quick on this one. I'm just going to check on something, right. He's normally one of the quicker ones. So I'm imagining he will be up there. And let's see where Hazer will place his AlphaTauri. You've also got to watch out for Pesci, of course. Lynx, he'll probably be able to push himself up there. Judge Santi may have also had a quali ban as well as an Alfa Romeo of Destroyer Drac, just ensuring he stays out of the way of the AlphaTauri, who of course goes purple in Sector 2 as well. I'm expecting something decent, but it's not normally the quickest of laps for Hazer first time around here as we head through Blanchimont, and now we go into the chicane as well. And this will be the slow part of the track heading through the chicane and out of turns 19 into turn 20. And the first formal lap time from Hazer will be a 1 minute 41.659. And that will place Hazer in P1 for now. Destroyer Drac will start his lap as well. Filthy Ghost in the Red Bull will also kickstart his lap. And you've got the Mercedes of Kennedy. Most people not on a lap, but you do have the Red Bull of the Lynx piece pushing on now. So therefore we will stick with the Red Bull driver. Just see how high up the grid will Lynx start for the sprint this evening. And also, is it going to stay dry for the race? Because there's been no confirmation as yet. So fingers crossed from the driver's perspectives, as Lynx goes second fastest with a 141.894. The two Aston Martins now will lead to the line. Steelane has invalidated that run, but Mr. Poem is directly behind him. Steelane would have done a 145.7, so it wouldn't have been particularly quick, but he can move on with a quick lap on this occasion. As both Aston Martins, it's Mr. Poem a little bit squirmy on the exit of the source out of turn 1, so now he'll have to head through Vadillon and Erouge, having a little bit of a gap between himself and his teammate up ahead, so I'm not sure that will be the best of laps. So from him as Tajani settles in P3 with a 142.213, and the McLaren of Wizard Rex leading to the line, but he's only on an out lap, so he'll kickstart his lap now. Going to the Alfa Romeo then of Destroyer Jack. But one thing will be the fuel as well in qualifying. You only get just over 2 laps of fuel if you use the minimum fuel load in qualifying. Destroyer Draclo will right now come to the line, and that Alfa Romeo, let's see where will he place himself. It will be a 42.3 and just goes in behind Tajani. as there will be an AlphaTauri of Rusted Bolt, who starts his lap time as well, and the Red Bull of Filthy Ghost about to finish his first flying lap here for the Red Bull. It will be in the 42s, it will be a 42.7 to go in the top 5. And let's see, is Hazer leading to the line. He's about to start a second hot lap. He does tend to do this. His first runs will naturally be 2 runs. But of course, again, with it being such a lengthy track and a lengthy lap time as well, you're not going to get too many runs, too many opportunities to set a lap time. Here in qualifying, Mr. Perlman with the slipstream and goes in the top 5. Steel Lane goes at 7th fastest. So the two Aston Martins working together, but that Mr. Poem slip out of the source here on the hot lap did not do him any favours, unfortunately, as we will drop down. Kennedy has invalidated, and Pesci will be starting his hot lap now and heading into the source once more. Rusted Bolt then. Let's see, will we be striving for a positive lap time this evening? Our Wizard Rex returning after a little bit of time, let's just say a couple of weeks, well, more than a couple of weeks away. He's back, but he's back with an invalidation, so not what he would have wanted. Rusted Bolt still pushing on now into Sector 3 as we head beyond Blanchimont once more for Rusted Bolt and the Alpine as well. I think that may, is that Tajani potentially entering the pit lane? I think it may have been. Rusted Bolt then at sea as he enters through, turns 19 and 20 down at the chicane and onto the straight. And Bolt leads with a 42.7, goes 7th fastest and drops in behind Filthy Ghost. So 2 Williams now of Tabo and Merck will start their hot laps as well. Merck, however, not using battery. Tabo is using his battery. And also Rusted Bolt still over there, and Hazer will go quicker. It's a 1:41.594, a marginal improvement, but an improvement nonetheless from the AlphaTauri, and remains first place. But Pesci, purple through Sector 2. So the McLaren, as we would expect from the championship leader, is one to watch here this evening. And let's see what he can do. Plenty of cars are just running into the pit lane now. An Aston Martin, a Red Bull and an Alfa Romeo. But one man who won't be will be the McLaren of Pesci, who will now go beyond turn 20 and onto the straight. It's a 1:41.7, but it's only second fastest for the McLaren. So Pesci goes P2 and drops in behind his championship rival as Kennedy goes 7th fastest ahead of Filthy Ghost. But the top 2 in the championship, in fact the top 3 in the championship, are 1, 2 and 3 in qualifying this evening. Hazer, Pesci and Lynx. Peace and Aston Martin also in the pit lane. Yellow flags, however. Sure if he ran out of fuel. I think potentially, in fact, he may have done. Let's go and have a little look back. Rusted Bolt not on a hot lap. The 2 Williams, however, were. So let's go, well, particularly Tabo. Merck, however, I think will bide his time. I think he may go on the next run, hopefully. But let's see what Tabo can do. The Frenchman, here he goes, beyond turn 20 now. And this will be the Williams capturing his first lap time. It's a 43.0 and goes into the top 10. As we drop again, having a little look at Merck. Is he using any battery? Yes, he starts to use it. So let's see what Merck can do on this lap. Anybody else on a hot lap? Or do we have to go back towards Merck? Rusted Bolt is actually on hot lap, and he is just ahead of Merck on track. So we'll keep watch of the AlphaTauri and the Williams as they both strive their way through onto the Kemmel Straight and into the back end of Sector 1 and now into Sector 2 for the AlphaTauri. Back to Kennedy, not improving in that Mercedes, and in fact his fuel light is also on. Pesci, and they've all got the fuel lights on as Hazer into the pit, and I think Pesci is likely to join him. Hazer certainly looking quick, however, even though he's done his best lap on his second lap on the same set of tyres. Clearly shows that he has more time to gain, as Rusted Bolt and Merck will continue to push their cars to the limit here, particularly through Sector 2. That's where you've got to try and push it if you can. In qualifying, it's not going to be easy. You've got to make sure you've got the downforce in your car. That stability is crucial through Sector 2, whilst you do want the top speed as well. And it is a 1:14.098 through the Sector 2 split. It's a 1:13.976 for Merck. So Merck was slightly up on the AlphaTauri of Rusted Bolt through the Sector 2 split. And back now into Sector 3 and heading down into the chicane once more into turns 19 and 20 here for Rusted Bolt. And the AlphaTauri, how much of an improvement will he gain? I'm sure he'll get a few tenths on this one, but how quick would he be? It's a 42.3 and he goes into the top 6. But the Williams of Merck will place his car into the top 4. It's a 42.102 for Merck then, and he's out ahead of Tajani. So actually, in fact, now it is the top 4 in the Drivers' Championship who are in the top 4 in qualifying at this moment in time. Hazer, Pesci, Lynx and Merck are looking strong. So we'll see what any other driver could do. Tajani on a lap. He did have a marginal improvement through Sector 1, but has lost time through Sector 2, and he is about half a tenth of a second down. Rusted Bolt is still out on track, but I think he will be going into the pit lane on this occasion. Wizard Rex yet to set a time after invalidating on his first run. Yellow flags out in Sector 1 and now into Sector 2 for the Williams up ahead. And I presume that will be Merck, who brought out those yellow flags in Sector 1. And now let's stick then with the American of Wizard Rex then. And now tricky corner that one through Bruxelles and now out turn 11 into turn 12 down at Pouon. And let's see how he'll do at Pouon. Here we go, the green flags emerging, but not really, because Merck has obviously got to go with the yellow flags throughout. But beyond Pouon now and down through turns 13 and 14. Could say it's a little bit of a mini chicane really as we exit through at turn 15 and now beyond the double right-hander at turn 16. Invalidation low for Wizard rather. So Wizard Rex again invalidating his lap time. He may get one more run at things. We've only got just under 5 minutes remaining. You could argue that could be a positive really. But he definitely needs to get his final lap in. He's got to go into the pit surely. He's surely not going to go again. He's going to go into the pit lane. He has to get a fresh set of softs on. And then he will have one more run. Most drivers, in fact, will only get 2 runs if you use 2 fresh sets of soft tyres here. And you are better off in a sprint using the medium tyres. So you're better off using a set of mediums for that sprint. Steve Lane is also heading into the pit and will go towards the Aston Martin. Poem also in the pit. And the final driver out on track will be Merck, who has had to go round a whole track near enough without any fuel. And now he's into the pit. Everybody in the pit, but there is a Red Bull coming out, and that is the form of Lynx Peace. 3rd place on track and 3rd place in a championship for the Red Bull driver. And now we go directly on board with him as a Mercedes, and I do believe, which car is that? Is that an AlphaTauri? Maybe not. I thought there was a car potentially coming out to the track, but it's not. It is just the Red Bull and the Mercedes, who are both out on track now. In fact, now, yes, I was potentially correct, because an AlphaTauri is taking to the track, and that is, let's just check, it is Rusted Bolt. And we've also got Kennedy in behind Lynx as well. So Lynx Peace will be the first driver to start his final hot lap this evening. Who will come out on pole position though is the question. There's 1.5 tenths between Hazer and Pesci, and Lynx is not far behind. In fact, it's exactly 3 tenths of a second to Lynx Peace. Actually, it says on there 0.299. As you can tell on that graphic, it should be exactly 3 tenths of a second. So the game is kind of lying to us, if we're being honest. We're going to go with the gap to the leader, just see what times they do then. But Lynx Peace currently 3 tenths off Pesci, 1.5 tenths. Some improvements to come, I am very sure of that, as Lynx Peace just taking it easy. He does have a Mercedes leading up to him, and Kennedy now has overtaken him. So Kennedy wants to be the first driver to go for a formal lap time. I'm pretty sure the majority of drivers would rather not get over that line until there's less than 1 minute 40 remaining, really. Because you don't really want to have to do your final in-lap without any fuel, because you don't want to get in anyone's way. Anyways, let's see what these two, particularly Lynx Peace, what can they do here? Right, so let's go back then into the source with Link's Piece. Does he keep his car stable? Yes, he does. Using up that battery with the Mercedes up ahead, he will get a little bit of slipstream from Kennedy, in fact, so it could be favourable for Link's. Then again, quite a few drivers, I imagine, may potentially try and get a little bit of slipstream from a car up ahead. And let's see what that slipstream is. It's a lot of slipstream because that Kennedy has slowed down. Has Kennedy invalidated potentially? Because that was certainly the Mercedes. Yes, he has. Kennedy not improving then. And I do believe that may be qualifying over for the Mercedes of Kennedy unless he can get round. But he's going too slowly and that will be qualifying done and dusted for the Mercedes. But it's not qualifying done and dusted for this Red Bull. As Link's Piece now striving his car on through into P1 he goes. A double left-hander. And you want to have a nice exit as well, which leads potentially onto the curb a little bit, which is what the Red Bull does, and into the little mini chicane down at campus we go. And here is the Red Bull then. And we're about to see what that Sector 2 split is going to look like here for Lynx. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Maybe saving battery, trying to get around for a final lap here. Is that what the Red Bull was trying to do? Because he's not improving. Rusted Bolt in P7 is improving by 2.5 tenths. We've got about 15 seconds remaining. Will Link's Piece get to the line? He may just about make here with 10 seconds left. There'll be a couple of seconds for him to reach the line. Yeah, Lynx will start a final lap. He'll be the final driver to do so. Bolt then to the line. It's a 41.9 and he goes into the top 4 and displaces the Williams of Merck. And now down towards the McLaren, but it's not Pesci, it will be Wizard Rex to set the next lap time with a Mercedes in behind him. That may be Kennedy, in fact, the one who won't be able to get to the line as Wizard Rex goes 8th fastest and Kennedy into the pit. Now to the Red Bull of Filthy Ghost, not improving. And he couldn't run much wider than that. That was incredibly wide from Filthy Ghost, potentially playing a game of hide and seek as he nearly went into the barrier. Either way though, Filthy Ghost remains 11th fastest, and now this is where it gets quite crucial because Hayes is improving and improving rapidly at a rate of knots. By 6 tenths of a second he's improving. Hayes is to the line, improves by 7 tenths, a 140.911, and Hazer is on top at the moment. But can anybody better that as Lynx is improving and Pesci improving by half a second as well? There's a chance here for Pesci. Bolt P5, Tabo P6. Kennedy stays P11. Wizard Rex dropping down a further place. Poem goes 8th fastest, but Pesci to the line, stays 2nd fastest. Hazer's on pole, unless Link's Piece can do anything about it. Destroyer Track has invalidated. What about Steel Lane? He is massively improving as well, so we'll just go with Steel Lane and then we'll switch to the Red Bull. Where will the Aston Martin of Steel Lane go? Across the line, he stays P13. No improvement, really, in regards to position. And the final driver is Link's Piece. And Lynx will stay 5th fastest. Hazer takes pole position here. As 140.911 to clinch pole position, leading to the sprint race. And he is massively up on Pesci. That is absolutely phenomenal from the AlphaTauri driver. He has absolutely cleared the McLaren of Pesci. Pesci has work to do in the sprint if he wants to keep pace with the AlphaTauri. And there you go. That is your top. But the top 3 are all out there. Link's not far behind. Tajani obviously splitting Merck and Lynx as well. But wow, Hazer, absolutely brilliant. Right, your qualifying results are in full then, and Hazer on top, 4.5 tenths exactly to Pesci. An incredible gap, one of the largest gaps we have seen this season. 9 tenths to Merck in P3, about a second or so to Tajani and Lynx, very tight, 1,000th of a second separating the Dutchman and the Brit. And then you've got the Lithuanian Rusted Bolt in the top 6, 1 second away, but the 2 AlphaTauris looking set. As are the 2 Williams with Tabo in the top 7, 1.3 seconds off ahead of Mr. Poem, Destroyer Jack, Wizard Rex, Kennedy, Go, Steel Lane, Coffee and Judge Santi. starting at the very back of the grid. So Coffee and Santi, I believe, serving qualifying bands, but they will head into the sprint at Belgium. Don't forget, the top 8 drivers in the sprint will wrap up some points for themselves in a championship. It is the normal points system in Formula 1 that we use for the sprints. No point effectively for a fastest lap. But there was a point gained by Hazer for that pole position, however. So the gap effectively between himself and Pesci now is 4 points. So there you go, very tight stuff. 4 points separating the pairing of Pesci and Hazer. So we head into the sprint. There'll be a couple of minutes of a break. As you can see, it will remain dry. And I'll be back in just a moment. Right, and we are back then, and we should be getting ready. So any of the drivers who are listening, feel free to ready up. Given I only posted in there a couple of minutes ago, it should be pretty easy for anybody to press that button, but we will be getting ready. Fingers crossed they don't really need me to tell them only a minute later, effectively, that I need to ready up, but we'll see. There you go, I've got the 10-second countdown on, so we will get into things here on the rundown into the source, the short rundown, don't forget as well. And who will be taking advantage. Here we go, the sprint, 8 laps in total. And let's go, ready, steady, and it's go, go, go! Hazer and Pesci going forward. Hazer taking the lead as a Haas driver, the AlphaTauri putting out as well. Hazer leads into turn 1. Tajani going a little bit wide potentially. Merck trying to push alongside him, but can't quite make it. Tajani takes Merck, however, and makes himself get into the top 3, heading into Radion and down through Erouge. And it's Tajani up at P3. Off goes Merck, however, and Link's Peace takes the position, and that is vital potentially in what could be a championship campaign for Link's Peace. Don't quite rule him out yet, but he does run a little bit wide, which could offer Merck an opportunity. Merck all over the rear, but our top 3 are running away as Tajani starts on the soft compound tyre, and Pesci is spun! What's happened? The championship leader, Pesci, is around! Oh my goodness! through at Bruxelles, and it is not quite the end of the road for Pesci, but he's got to gain so many paces now. He is down to the back of the field, and Hazer, before the race even starts, may be your new championship leader. He has got Tajani for company, the quick starting Tajani and Lynx both all over him, and a DRS trainer, Santi, takes the place of Wizard Rex as up into the top 11. Wizard trying to get back at the Haas, however. A little bit of a gap being formed now from the back of the top 10 drivers. And we'll have a little check out. We're going to actually back up here towards Tajani because he is all over Hazer. And Lynx Peters trying to join in as well, going on board the Red Bull. Side by side, through the chicane. Go to Tajani and Hazer. No contact at the moment. Still no contact. Brilliant racing through the chicane. Hazer holds on to the race lead. Tajani's got the outside line here. Who will take advantage of it? And let's find out then. The tyre situation, the majority in fact are on soft tyres, but still side by side. And now the Red Bull of Lynx enters the fray. Through it to Ravion. What a move by Lynx. He takes one. He takes two. Incredible stuff. Lynx has made a double overtake into a Rouge. Unbelievable. Tamo is out. And that may be a safety car. Yes, it is. But breathtaking stuff at the front of the field from Lynx. Absolutely incredible. What a stunning double overtake that was from the Red Bull driver. He goes from P3 to P1. Absolutely remarkable. And that is Lynx Piece at the top of the table. Incredible. Steel Lane 5-second time penalty. Safety car called out. Lynx made the overtake at the perfect opportunity. Wow. Steel Lane, I'm not sure what the 5-second penalty was for actually, given that he's at the back of the field, but you can easily pit in all fairness. You know what I would be tempted to do at this moment is pit right now and then pit the next lap as well. So then you go back onto the same set of tyre, just because you don't really want to use more than one compound of tyre in a sprint race, if we're being completely honest, because you lose the tyre. Well, you don't lose a tyre. And then again, you might do. I think you lose one set of tyre from the sprint for the race, especially if you're starting on softs. Then you only get 3 tyre compounds for the race, and that is it. Or at least we had that in Tier 2 at Qatar, so I do imagine that might be the same for all of these drivers on soft tyres. You may only get 1 set of each compound of tyre, which may not be what everybody wants, but that may be what those soft tyre runners get for the race. But the medium tyre runners should be okay. They should get the extra compound of tyre, but the soft runners, I don't think they will. Steel Lane has decided to stay out. I'm not sure why. Because even if he, let's say he did try to get his 5-second time penalty off, okay? The issue with that is, he's not going to start any higher for the race. He will only be starting wherever that 5-second penalty takes him. I'm not sure on that strategy, you know, from him. I think he was better off, in my opinion, serving that 5-second penalty. I'm not sure why he has decided not to, if I'm honest. No surprises as well that Pesci has pitted. I mean, he's got it all to do now, but on the fresh soft tyres, he's got a chance to deliver something. He needs to get something out of this. As you can see from the position changes, well, it's been a superb start from Lynx. Started in P5, and he has made his way up to P1. Absolutely breathtaking. Again, I've got to say that was one of my favourite moves of the season that he pulled off there, the double overtake. I think there was a little bit of contact at the end of it heading through into Radion and a Rouge. But I think Lynx Piece had the move done already, in all fairness to him. It was absolutely unbelievable from the Red Bull driver to take both places. I mean, to get 1 place was enough. But he was a bit greedy. He wanted both and he got both. Fair play. Fair play. Absolute ballsy move there from the Red Bull. And he absolutely delivered to get that Red Bull on top. And don't forget, Red Bull and AlphaTauri also battling in that Constructors' Championship as well. How important would points be for Lynx Piece here in the sprint and also potentially in the race? Filthy Ghost will be thinking similarly, but he's losing out to Rusted Bolt. That's not a surprise. Filthy Ghost is a Tier 2 driver after all. Whereas Ross Bolt, of course, has been a long-term servant in Tier 1 and is currently occupying a place in the top 5. But great start so from this quadruple set of drivers here. Kennedy, Ghost, Santi and Coffee, all up a minimum of 5 positions each, and of course links up 4 places, so they have been the quick starters here. Not a great start from Pesci, down 11, Mr. Perm down 6, but again he's on fresh tyres, so we can do something on those softs. Down 3 for Destroyer Jack, started in P9, down in P12, but he's also on soft. Steve Lane does go into the pits, so he has decided he wants to get a fresh set of tyres on. Maybe this was his strategy on the final lap for the safety car, to get the fresh set of soft tyres on and have the freshest tyres of anyone on the grid, potentially. And he also gets to serve that 5-second penalty. I think he realises now, yeah, it makes more sense to serve the penalty. Maybe he's had a bit of time to think about things and weigh up his options, because again, he could have tried to get that 5 seconds overturned, and you know, it may have been successful. However, even if he did get it successful, and yes, he could have got a point, maybe 2 points in a sprint, but again, for the race, you wouldn't be able to start in that position. So the better option for him really was, unfortunately, to serve the time penalty. I would check the race director to see what the penalty was for. Again, was it ignoring yellow flags, maybe? But even then, I don't understand how exactly that can happen, because he was legitimately last. So however that happened, I don't know. Anyways, back to the front then. Links piece, Hazer, Tajani's done a real good job, although he'll be a bit disappointed to not be in the top 2 at this stage of this sprint. But we only get 4 laps of racing now at the back end of the sprint, so anyone can come up on top. Pesci, don't forget, on the fresh soft tyres, down to P12, he has got himself a chance to get some points as well. Also, the safety car now has been confirmed, and it will be in this lap, so Link's Beast can relax, calm the grid down, bunch up the field, and now this can get tasty once more, expecting a DRS train, and we'll only get, I do believe, what, 2 laps? I think 2 laps of DRS here. So lap 5 you go racing, lap 7 and lap 8 you will be able to get DRS, providing there's no more full or virtual safety cars. Let's see then what Link's Piece can do. The battle for the sprint win. The battle to make sure you're in the top 8. Don't forget Tabo will be starting directly in P15 for the sprint, for the race, sorry, as a result of the DNF. But there you go, Link's Piece has shot off, and Hazer is following him quite nicely, and through the turns 19, 20 chicane, and down into turn 1 at the source. Link's Piece and Hazer then. And there is a good half a second between them. Tajani, he's the one who's dropped off really. 0.8 of a second, and a gap between Coffee and Wizard as well for P9 and 10. Who has made the best of starts? Well, Pesci is the man who has made the best of starts. As you can see here, he's looking at a move down. He is on a Destroyer Drac, but the Alfa Romeo covers him off. I'm sure Wizard Rex won't defend from Pesci much, but he will maybe defend from Drac. Here they come. One Alfa Romeo goes through, and one McLaren sails through. Side by side will be Pesci and Destroyer Jack, who will take advantage, and it will be the McLaren of Pesci will win it. Yes, it will. Pesci is through, and Pesci's into the top 10 as he takes a pair of them. Jack and Wizard unable to defend it against a quick driver, the championship leader in the form of Pesci, and he's up into the top 10 as Judge Santi now is having a little battle of his own with the Red Bull. Oh, Filthy Ghost with a has go for the move. He goes for onto the curb a little bit. Very fortunate, no contact between himself and the Red Bull. A gap being formed, however, from the top 6 to the 7th placed Filthy Ghost. So that top 6 are starting to run away from the rest of the field. Out of DRS now, Filthy Ghost in P7. as Judge Santi Coffey, and we'll go back down towards Pesci because he is the one making moves. And if we say that, Mr. Poem managed to make a move on Wizard Rex, and we're going to go directly towards Pesci once more as he's all over the Alpine rather of Coffey. To suspect here there may be a chance of a move down the inside. He will have a look down the inside of the Alpine. Will he hold it? Yes, he does. He holds a place, and Pesci is up another spot, up into P9. Points are only margins ahead, as Pesci also takes a faster lap off the sprint. The battle between Lynx and Hazer yet to commence, really. The gap at half a second. Don't forget though, DRS is on the next lap. Pesci has a chance of points here. He may even be able to get a couple more places from this one, Pesci. And there could be a solid 3, 4, maybe 5 points up for grabs here for the McLaren. It wouldn't surprise me if he could catch up to the AlphaTauri of Rusted Bolt, in fact, and take away that P5. Maybe P4 for Merck could be an opportunity as well. But he needs to make a move here on Santi, unable to do it at this moment in time. A Haas is all over the Red Bull of Filthy Ghost, as this trio are facing a battle here at Belgium. As wide goes the Red Bull of Filthy Ghost. That gives Santi the chance that he needs. Side by side come the Red Bull and the Haas. And Santi, I think, gets the place. Yes, he does. But the Red Bull comes again. And here they go, side by side once more. And boo! Goes Santi round the outside. He has the inside lines. And Ghost will try and hold it once more. But down the inside goes Pesci. He takes one. Will he take another? He's got Ghost. Next up will be Judge Santi. He doesn't go for it here. He doesn't take the audacious effort into turn 15. But now on the exit of turn 16. And Pesci will have Judge Santi squirming on his seat. And here we go. Pesci already has the inside line and takes advantage. And he takes the place into P7. Goes the McLaren of Pesci. As Ghost has a little look down around the outside of Santi. He doesn't hold it, however. Maybe a little bit of contact as well as Ghost, a little bit of a battle with the Alpine of Coffey. And Coffey now has got Destroyer Jack all over him. We're going back towards Filthy Ghost here. DRS enabled this lap. Ghost and Santi at it again. Santi taking the place of Filthy Ghost and up into the top 8. Don't forget our top 8 at the moment taking points as well. And we're going to go to the front of this field because Hazer has DRS on Lynx Piece. I will try and keep watch of those cars further back as Rusted Bolt takes Merck as well, and Rusted Bolt now into the top 4 as Ghost, Santi, Coffey, I think Destroyer Jack in there as well. Jack and Ghost going at it. Jack takes the place. He's trying to hold him on the outside. Unbelievable, too wide. Jack takes the place of Ghost. Brilliant overtake there. A brilliant overtaking manoeuvre from the Alfa Romeo, and now down the inside, an audacious move from Judge Santi to take the place. Really audacious. And into the wall goes Coffey. He's out. There will be no safety car, but Coffey, the Alpine, is out of the sprint. He will start at P14. I'm not sure if there was any contact. I didn't see any. It looked to me like he just lost it. But either way, I'm sure we will get confirmation of that at some point. Pesci has caught up and has overtaken Kennedy. Kennedy trying to get back at him side by side. But it looks like the McLaren is clear. And the McLaren of Pesci is up into the top 6 now. He takes the Mercedes. And will he be able to get onto the rear of Rusted Bolt and Merck? Never mind, because Kennedy has other ideas. He's trying to take Pesci and he takes him back. Kennedy is back into the top 6 now, and that will cost Pesci a run potentially at that top 5. He has no chance now. I think this is what Hazer has been wanting as well, if we're being honest with you, because he is all over Lynx Piece for the sprint win here. We're on to the last lap now. Pesci will have DRS on Kennedy, and now he has a look. He makes the move on. He makes the move, but I'm not sure that's tactical or not from Kennedy. Kennedy will now get DRS on Pesci. But let's have a little look further up the field. Lynx Piece and Hazer. If I'm being honest, I think that was tactical. But anyways, going back towards it, Hazer and Lynx. Hazer takes Lynx, and Hazer is into the sprint lead. Sprint race lead now for Hazer. He's still on board to get maximum points. Merck takes Bolt, and into the top 4 goes the Williams. And Pesci does lose out towards Kennedy, but he's got the better tyres. He may still get Kennedy in this sprint. Do not rule that out. Pesci for top 6 can still happen. Destroyer Jack will be waiting in the wings as well for the potential final point or final point, shall we say, in the sprint. Back towards the front, we have a little look though. Hazer is cruising his way forward. Through into campus we go. And we are more than half a lap in this final lap as we approach Sector 3 for the final time in the sprint. And Hazer has a 6/10 of a second lead over the Red Bull of Lynx Peace. And we'll have a little look back once more at Pesci. He will be all over that Mercedes of Kennedy here. And then we'll briefly go up the field. The red light flashing, however, for Kennedy. It gives Pesci the chance that he needs. He's got the overspeed here. He's got the overspeed. Side by side, they go. Pesci still there with Kennedy, and they will go side by side into the final chicane. Pesci takes it. He's into the top 6. Hazer gets a sprint win. Links P2 from Tajani. Merck and Bolt. Kennedy and Destroyer Jack batting over the line. Pesci takes P6, and Kennedy clinches P7 ahead of Drac. That is the final points places. Bolt did take P5 as well. But wow. And over the line goes Mr. Power, but it is Hazer who comes out on top in that sprint. He took pole position in qualifying. He takes the sprint win. Hazer is now the new championship leader after the sprint race. But now it gets tasty because we have the race coming up. But wow, those are your sprint race results then. Hazer, Lynx, Tajani, Merck, Bolt, Pesci, Kennedy and Destroyer Drac. The top 8 and all securing points from that sprint race. So next up it will be the feature, and that will be a 5-minute break before we have the feature race. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in Tier 1 UFRL and a championship battle seemingly between Hazer and Pesci will continue. Hazer does have a championship lead following qualifying and the sprint, where he has taken maximum points, 9 points in total tonight from Hazer. I think Pesci must have taken about, what's that, 3 points for Pesci. So it's very close still between them, but it's 5 lights here. And it's go, go, go with Hazer and Link's Piece alongside. Hazer will hold the lead, however, into turn 1. And down the inside goes the Alpine, rather, off to Tajani. Tajani trying to take Link's Piece. Off goes Destroyer Jack in the background. Coffee also having a battle with him, but Hazer holds the lead. Yellow flags further behind us. Merc takes Tajani. Brilliant move. Through it to Radion and a Rouge. Merc takes a position here as Tajani. Kennedy, and here comes Pesci as well with a chance. There were yellow flags further back here. And Rusted Bolt trying to have a battle himself as well. Has the nice, comfortable line there from the AlphaTauri to squabble with the McLaren. Does he have the perfect line? Yes, he does. He stays ahead of the McLaren of Pesci, which will be crucial, really. And now here comes a chance for Judge Santi. Santi trying to take Pesci as well. Kennedy getting to Jardy, and Pesci and Santi continue. Santi with a squirm. Pesci takes the move potentially off track. I'm not too sure on that one, but Pesci is ahead. Either way, he's up again into 7th place. Quite a start, I've got to say. Link's Piece and Hazer going side by side, and Merc is keeping up with them. And these three are on medium tyres here, as again Hazer having a look on Link's Piece. Gotta say, if I was these three, I wouldn't really want to be battling each other. Oh, that was so close! That was so close, Link's Piece. I thought he was going to go into the wall. How did he not go in the wall? He just about kept it within the, not even track limits. But how he didn't make any contact with the wall was quite remarkable. Hazer having a little look down the inside. Again, though, I think these three have got to work together here. They've got a real chance to work together. They've got to hold off that pack in behind. They cannot let Pesci catch them up. Pesci is the one they've got to watch out for in P7. They've got to extend that gap on him. This top three have to work together for me. Forget about all those battles. You've got the extra grip right now on those hard tyre runners. Use it. You've got to use it well. And they have that chance. They cannot let it go. They can all get podiums here if they work together well enough. As a little bit of a move there from Rusted Bolt. Let's see if he takes the place of one. Potentially both. He does get Kennedy on the inside line. Let's see if Bolt will hold it. I think he will. He will definitely hold it on Kennedy, but he doesn't quite get it on Tajani. But either way, he does take a place. Mr. Poem also taking Wizard Rex. Wizard Rex may just be a little bit dusty, not raced in a while, but he's trying to battle here with Mr. Poem. Poem does stay ahead in the Aston Martin and make sure he gets himself into P9. Steel Lane also started on soft tyres. Destroyer Jack has pitted for a fresh set of hard tyres after having a disappointing start from the Alfa Romeo. Judge Santi has got Pesci up ahead. Got to say, Pesci has got some work to do though. P7 not really gaining anything, and in fact he has lost the place to Kennedy in this race. But we're only on lap 2, plenty of time remaining here as Kennedy gets a little bit uppity on that curb. Either way, he does keep his car nicely intact. Judge Santi, though, he is all over that McLaren. Let's see if the Haas driver has a chance here. Coffee as well, taking Filthy Ghosts. Oh, I saw that. Contact there. Big contact between Ghost and Tabo. I've got to say, I did think they were going to both go in the wall. Oh, what's happening here? Mr. Poem's into the pits. May have some damage there from Mr. Poem. As looks like Steel Lane, potentially Wizard Rex as well, trying to battle each other. But I think Mr. Poem definitely entering the pit lane there. Let's go back a bit further forward then. And see what Hazer's got up his sleeve then. I think himself and Merc are now working with Link's Piece. They know Link's has got a good amount of pace here. They don't really have to use a battery if they don't really need to. Just don't go side by side through Sector 2 and they should be okay, in my honest opinion. But again, they are increasing the gap on the pack in behind, which are currently Rusted Bolt and Tajani, because Pesci is about a second behind the top 5 now. I mean, he's got to push. He's got to push in that McLaren to get back within a second, or he will be in some trouble. With Kennedy, Santi, Wizard, Steelane and Coffee all within 1 second of each other. There's some pressure here on the former championship leader. The championship leader heading into tonight's race is under the cosh from the drivers behind, and he's not attacking at a top 5, where Tajani has the most pace of those on the hard compound tyre. It's a real chance here for the Alpine, the Dutchman, to get some good points. He had a positive turnout last week at Imola, where I do believe, was it 4th place, I believe, for Tajani. Maybe 5th, I think it was 4th, however. But this week, again, he's pushing with that top 4 group. He's in the top 5 and he's looking strong. So we go again up the field with Hazer here, challenging with the Red Bull of Link's Peace. That top 3 are flying. But then you've got the 2, maybe 3 in behind here, as Pesci now is beginning to gap the Mercedes of Kennedy. I get the impression that Pesci was having to use some battery to try and get himself within a second, which caught Kennedy off guard. And Kennedy now won't be within DRS range of the top 6. So Pesci now has a chance to attack Tajani and Bolt, but he definitely won't get that opportunity down the Kemmel Straight. Whereas Hazer potentially can get the opportunity down the Kemmel Straight, as now he goes for the move into turn 7. And Hazer does get the job done. He does take the lead. Link's Peace and Merck following in behind. And Bolt holding the place. Tajani and Pesci still there. Santi did take Kennedy meanwhile. And Santi now up into P7. And you got Wizard Rex all over them. Steelane on those soft tyres, but he is struggling to keep up with the top 9 drivers here. In the Aston Martin, he's got Coffee just behind him on hard tyres. Filthy Ghost battling with Tabo as well. And you got Mr. Perm quite some way back, I've got to say. But he did have to pit. He is on hard tyres. Destroyer Jack is about 4.5 seconds behind Mr. P. He is also on hard tyres. So back towards the front with no other battles or significant battles, in fact, occurring. I am just keeping an eye on Filthy Ghost and Tabo at the moment. A gap about half a second, but it's certainly this battle for the race lead between Hazer, Lynx and Merck that seems to be the closest right now. The majority of drivers are still pretty close to each other here on lap 4, as Lynx Peace cannot get a lot closer towards Hazer, but again, I think this trio will just try to work together a bit better now than what they were on lap 1 and certainly into lap 2. But now there is a chance for them to increase the gap. But Bolt is starting to steadily close in. 1.6 seconds now. So whether or not Hazer is holding up these 2, trying to bring Bolt into it, I can't see him doing that. But Bolt is now having some good pace on his mediums and is beginning to catch up to that top 3 pack, which could see Lynx or Merck possibly try and bolt away from Rusted Bolt. Ironically enough, Link's Peace will go for the move on Hazer here down the inside, and he will take the place. Hazer cannot quite defend that one. Not surprising either on the exit of turn 7, and now into Bruxelles. We'll have a little look to see if Link's Peace will just comfortably hold the lead. I think he will. But the gap to Rusted Bolt is still pretty steady, out at 1.6 seconds at the moment. So Bolt is still there. He's got himself a chance. Pesci as well, closing in on the Dutchman Tajani for a place in the top 5. You've got Steelane a little bit towards Coffee, and then Tabo 4/10, half a second behind Filthy Ghost for P12. But it's certainly this battle here between Lynx, Hazer and Merck. No fireworks just yet between this trio of drivers, or between any drivers really. Although we did have whatever happened between Ghost and Tabo earlier when their tyres just collided with each other. Locked wheels effectively, which could have resulted in, let's just say, a serious incident, but in the end, nothing too much came off it, thankfully. We'll just keep an eye on those delta times. Rusted Bolt now has pulled himself within a second. I say that, he did just momentarily drop out, but he's back within a second now. Tajani is beginning to close the gap as well, and Pesci. We could go from a 3-way battle to a potential 6-way battle again here at the front of the field. Those hard tyre runners are beginning to close the gap to the medium tyres now, which is quite interesting to see, because I thought those mediums may have been able to hold out a little bit longer, but those hard tyres are now beginning to look like they could be, I'm not saying quicker, but they're not far away now. as Hazer re-overtakes Link's piece. Merc is in there as well, but doesn't go for it. Pesci takes to Johnny. So Pesci is now the highest of those hard tyre runners, and he finally makes his way into the top 5. Having started P6, he dropped to P7 behind Kennedy. Now he's overtaken Tajani as well, up into the top 5. Not quite the race he would have hoped for, but given he did drop to the back in the sprint, I think to be P5 after 6 laps in the race, he will be pretty satisfied with. But again, he knows he's got to try and work this one out and get himself close towards that front end group. Tajani is still all over him. And then Tavern Filthy goes, I mean, they've been sort of trading places in all fairness to them. Maybe trying to work together possibly to try and catch up to those ahead. And again, they weren't working together earlier, but maybe they are trying to now, or maybe they're just having a little battle. But either way, Tajani still all over the rear of Pesci. In fact, he's drawing alongside Pesci. And here we go, round the outside, goes the Alpine. Has he got the pace? Yes, he does. Well, it's quite an amazing overtake really from the Alpine, but it might be a little bit risky because we know what's coming, and we know what's coming in the form of DRS here for Pesci. Not just DRS into La Source, but he will get DRS on the Kemmel straight as well. So, not sure. Oh, Pesci's got a front wing damage for the McLaren of Pesci, and it's a full course safety car. Pesci has lost his front wing. And I do hope there's no penalties going around for any of those 3 ahead. It doesn't look like it. But Pesci has lost his entire front wing, and he's down in P9. Big chances for those up the field now. They have to pit, surely. And those on hard tyres, and the thing is, Pesci's on hard tyres. This is not going well for Pesci. He has struggled. Really? I mean, I say he struggled for him. For Pesci, he has struggled. For a normal driver, you could say he's done well up until that point, but for Pesci, he'll be disappointed, knowing how Pesci naturally is as a quick driver. Hopefully nobody at TIR are watching this performance from him. Sorry Pesci, had to say it. Fingers crossed nobody in that TIR team are watching this race from him, but if they are, I'm sure they'll be a little bit disappointed, but I think Pesci may just look towards getting some practice at Belgium whenever he races at Belgium, in terms of that team, of course. But either way, let's see. Pesci then will obviously pit. You know, there's no question marks over that. Bit disappointing to see a safety car over that, but I'm sure Pesci will be delighted that there's a safety car because of that. So, but again, he's on hard tyres. It's not like he really wins anything out of that. He doesn't gain anything, because he's going to have to pit again if he goes on to mediums or soft. So, not really ideal for him. But it is ideal for that top 4, because hard tyres will be the way to go for them. And they all go in, unsurprisingly. Oh! It's raining! It's raining! What on earth is this? They're all going to go for inters, I'm sure now. Yeah, the intermediates you can see on for the Red Bull garage. It is going to be intermediates. Out of absolutely nothing, rain has arrived. I was not told anything about this, ladies and gentlemen. Rain has hit us at Spa. And now the intermediates are flying on to every car. They're all going inters. Wizard stays out in the race lead on mediums. I think that's a mistake from him. I think he should have gone for inters, but maybe. Did he do it because he didn't want to hold up his teammate? There is potential, you know. I reckon he didn't want to hold up his teammate. Interesting call from that McLaren then. Has Wizard Rex played the ultimate team game in letting his teammate get into the pits first and repair his wing? Wizard may pit this lap still. I think he will, because those mediums are going to struggle. But he's let his teammate have the advantage there. And that could be massive. Destroyer Jack also staying out. I'm not sure on that one. For me personally, looking at the track now, it's definitely going to be inters by the time we start. But how long is it meant to rain for? Is it raining for the rest of the race? Big questions here at Spa now for all of these drivers, particularly for Wizard Rex and Destroyer Jack, who are still out on dry tyres. And like I saw at Monza only a couple of weeks ago in Tier 2, The rain arriving in the safety car period, well, looking at the track now, it's certainly looking to me like intermediates are the best bet. Unless the rain is due to stop imminently, I think you've got to go for intermediates. And let's just see if Wizard and Destroyer Jack do follow suit and go for the intermediates. Surely, intermediates must be the way to go here. But again, I get the impression that Wizard Rex did try and play that team game to give his teammate the priority pit stop. I'm pretty sure that is what may have occurred there, because that rain is now coming down too hard for dry tyres to be a suitable option. Wizard Rex will be preparing to get his car into the pits now. Here we go, he will go into the pits. A little bit of a slide on entrance, and he's got to be careful here. There you go, careful enough. Steady into the pits, make sure you slow down quickly enough. And there you go, into the pits goes Wizard Rex then. And I think Destroyer Jack rather will also box for the fresh set of intermediate tyres. So there you go, intermediates they go. Mr. Poem is also pitting here. This is going to be interesting. What tyre does he go on to? Thinking about full wets here, is he? Or is he going to go for another set of inters? He's going to go for another set of the intermediate tyre. So I do wonder if maybe there is a possibility he may have wanted to change his front wing. Not change his front wing, but I mean change his angle of the front wing to give him that better downforce. I think that may be what happened there for Mr. Poem. He may have wanted to increase his downforce at this circuit now. With the rain incurring, I get the feeling that may have been what happened there. Because don't forget, you can change your front wing effectively, not change your front wing, but change the angle of your front wing, and therefore increase or decrease your downforce. Good evening, Doug. That's little flute. You've got to love the flute, haven't you? Sounds odd. Jeez. I don't like that on stream. That sounds good. That was weird, wasn't it? It started well and it finished well. There you go. That could be a race sometimes, can't it? Maybe it was just trying to tell us what the race is going to be like. Start well, finish well. Anyways, just a little update because I don't know if you've been watching from the start. I presume you may not have been, in fact. So, qualifying, Hazer took pole position. Pesci got second place as well. So, that top two, 1 and 2. But in the sprint, it all went downhill for Pesci. Because he went to the back of the field. On, I think it was lap 1 as well. Maybe lap 2. But either way, Pesci dropped to the back on, I think it was lap 1 in fact. He dropped to the very back of the field. In the sprint, he did put himself back in the sprint. However, there was a safety car, and he got himself up to P6. But Hazer did win the sprint race. Hazer has been leading or battling at least with Lynx and Merc throughout this race, and he does have the lead on intermediates now, which will likely go to the end if the rain is not going to get too much harder or lightening up. Let's see as Hazer does make his way now. Pesci, however, in this race lost his front wing. That called out this safety car that we've just had. And Pesci now is down in P9. He was, I think he was P5 at the time. So he dropped effectively from P5 down to P9. Having to change his front wing as well. And there you go. Now Hazer and Lynx are away. But Merclair just had a little battle with Tajani because he got a little bit squirmy out of the source at turn 1. Could give the Alpine of Tajani an opportunity here. But in fact, it doesn't. He stays behind. Kennedy as well. Let's see what he's going to do. Has he got the top speed to take Rusted Bolt? He may go for it here. Is he going to have an attempt down through into turn 7? I think he may do here. And they will be side by side. There will be a lot of battling going on further back as well. And as you can see, the battles... Oh no! Into the wall and out goes Rusted Bolt. And that was Judge Santee, I believe. Judge Santee and Rusted Bolt have had a massive collision here. And that will be a full course safety car. And no surprises that is a full course safety car, because, wow, that is absolutely crazy. What has happened there between Judge Santee and Rusted Bolt? Bolt is out. I mean, it looked like the tyres just locked completely, but then Bolt just, he went straight into the wall. He could not avoid that one. In these conditions as well, it's so much more tricky to avoid anything, and Bolt could not avoid the wall there. There was only one place that AlphaTauri was going, and sadly, that's the end of the Lithuanian's race. No points for Rusted Bolt, sadly for him. So another safety car, another opportunity for people to think about pit stops. I mean, it's difficult to say on from my angle if I thought it was on Judge Santee or not, because I would need to have a better look at it, if I'm being honest. But it was an interesting one, let's just say that one. I'm pretty sure that will go into the steward's room. But definitely a big incident between Judge Santee and Rusted Bolt. So now, anybody thinking about the second pit stop? I still think these intermediates can get you to the end, which is why you're not really seeing many people pit. Could Tabo have thought about it? I think Tabo could have thought about going on to fresh inters, in all fairness to him. If I'm the driver right at the back, I'm going for the fresh tyres, personally. There's no point staying out on the same tyres, especially if nobody else is pitting. If nobody else is pitting, then I am pitting for fresh tyres, definitely. But yeah, that was an interesting one. I can't say personally who I thought was at fault, because I don't really know without having a better look at it. On one view, it's difficult to say. But I know full well that was definitely between Santee and Bolt, so that's all I can say. And that was on lap 10? Last lap, yes, lap 10. It was lap 10, right? Or was it lap 9? No, it was lap 10 because it was around this section here. There you go. That's easy to know. It's lap 10, incident, Rusted Bolt, Judge Santee. Okay. Oh, I just saw your comment in the lounge, Doug. Oh no. It's alright, as I said though in the TP chat, gotta make sure you catch up first. I am joking though, because I know you've got some pace at Abu Dhabi, I've seen it, so, you know. But I do like that track, I've got to say. One of my favourites is Abu Dhabi. I'm going to be honest though, looking at this rain. Could we get full wets? Look at it, it's heavy. It's heavy rain here, a downpour effectively. Is there a chance that full wet tyres come into the equation here? This will be the final time to get a pit stop in. Do they think about full wet? It's the question. And I'm pretty sure... Oh, Destroyer Drax in. And Tabo. The punters are playing their game. They're placing their bets. Destroyer Drac and Tabo are both in. And intermediates. they're not pushing too hard. They're not going full wets. They're only going a set of inters. Don't worry. It's fresh inter. So Tabo also gets to serve a 5-second penalty. There goes the fresh intermediates now for both of these two drivers. In all fairness, it's a smart play. Probably smarter from Tabo. Actually, no. You know what? No, I don't agree that. I don't agree with that. I don't think it was a smart play from Tabo. I think he should have pitted a lap earlier anyway. You know what? I think I'm completely wrong. For me, Tabo should have boxed a lap earlier. And although he would have one lap older tyres, he would be ahead of Jack right now. So you know what? No, I don't agree with that. I think Tabo didn't play a smart play on that occasion. Destroyer track, a little bit tricky to say. But I think Tabo should have boxed a lap earlier, and then he would be ahead of Destroyer track right now. But still, that rain is coming down heavily. We could be due for some full wet conditions here at some point. If that rain is not stopping, then if it doesn't calm down, then it will come to full wet conditions, I think. See how much spray. There's not a lot of spray, but I know they're obviously going low speed, so when the high speed comes up, particularly on that Kemmel straight, we'll see exactly how much spray is coming off those tyres. At the moment it's not much, but again it is low speed conditions. Safety car in this lap, confirmation from race control. And this is where it may get a little bit spicy here, with Hazer leading from Link's Piece, Merck, Tajani, Kennedy, Coffee, Pesci, Santi, Ghost, Wizard, Mr. Poem, Destroyer Jack, and last of all Tabo. But our bottom two are on the freshest tyres of all. Let's have a look. Does Hazer go early? They have been going very early so far, so it would not surprise me if Hazer makes a quick move for this one. And here we go, and Hazer is off, and we are back, up and running here. Don't forget, you cannot overtake until you get through on the line, as Kennedy already closing in on Tajani. Tajani goes wide through the chicane. That will give Kennedy the better line here. And now we're going, and Tajani just about staying ahead. He will try and defend the inside line here, because Kennedy is in an Alpine sandwich, very close down at the source. Super slow, as a little bit twitchy there is Pesci. Santi draws alongside him, who was ahead, and Pesci just about holds the advantage. Pesci again going close to another major mistake here. Got to say, through Radion, they really pushed it through and into Rouge as well. And now yellow flags for Mr. Poem, the reigning champion. Yellow flags through Radion and Rouge. Hazer has an incredible, enormous lead over Lynx and Merck as well. So what a restart. Under the safety car from Hazer, Lynx Piece with a tricky line. Definitely a tricky line. Not much that he can do to keep that on track, sadly for him. Either way, a great restart then from Hazer, leading through, and Link's Piece, Merck following in with Kennedy, Tajani, Coffee, Pesci still there, but only P7, that championship lead evaporating after the sprint, and it will increase after the race as things stand, unless Pesci can have an incredible final 10 laps of this Grand Prix here. Further down, we'll have a little look towards Destroyer Jack. Don't forget, on the better tyres in comparison to the McLaren ahead of Wizard Rex. Let's see if Jack can make the move. Yes, he will. He makes it now. And he takes the McLaren straight off the bat. And through goes the Alfa Romeo. And up into the top 10 goes Destroyer Jack. Cruising past the McLaren there. Superb stuff. And now Jack has got Filthy Ghost up ahead in the Red Bull. That is a Filthy Ghost. He's making a move now. What a beautiful overtake this will be on Judge Santi. Brilliant from the Tier 2 Championship leader. Ghost takes Santi and threw it to the source, and now is up into 8th place. Absolutely brilliant from Filthy Ghost. Still, my best move of the day was from Link's Piece in the sprint. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend watching that back. But either way, brilliant there from Filthy Ghost, taking Judge Santi and up into the top 8. That is probably my second favourite move of the evening so far. And now we go directly on board with Kennedy, was closing in on the Williams of Merck. Hazer and Lynx, the gap 2 seconds from those two drivers. Very close now coming Merck and Kennedy. Tajani's right in there as well. Pesci takes coffee, and Pesci's up into P6. But we're going to stick with this trio here with Merck, Kennedy and Tajani. Tabo and Wizard going at it further down. Tabo is up. Wizard has dropped a couple of places. Actually, we have to go to this. See what's happening. Judge Santi is lost out now towards Wizard Rex. They were definitely having a ding-dong battle for a place in the top 10. Tabo is the one who clears the pair of them. Again, he's on the better tyres. 2 laps old, as is Destroyer Jack, who is now closing in on Filthy Ghost. So there's a chance here for both Drac and Tabo, particularly Drac in P9, to get some good points found here. He's on the better tyres, and those tyres will definitely go the distance. I think everyone's will go the distance, but I certainly think Drac and Tabo are in a good place right now. As Pesci now takes Tajani, or does he? Tajani, something has happened. He's off track. And everyone sails past the Alpine here, including the hat of Judge Santi. And what was looking like a good race here from Tajani, he may, has he got any front wing damage? It doesn't look like it from that angle, as Merck receives a 5-second corner cutting penalty. And there you go, Drac is around. Destroyer Drac is around. Chaos here. Is it time for full wets? It might be time for full wets here. Santi is going very slowly. He's letting Tabo through, in fact. Okay, interesting. But anyways, Tajani, first driver, full wet tyres. Let's see what the Dutchman can do, and you know what time that means. That is time to get the detail. No, it's not. Not time to get the detail. It's time for the gap to the leader. Let's go. Jack is back on for another set of intermediates, however. As Merck and Pesci play battle, face battle, and now Pesci makes the move, job done, and onto the podium out of nowhere goes the McLaren of Pesci. Wow, how has that happened? But don't forget, he still has to go into the pits, maybe for full wet tyres. Let's see what they all do around here. But let's keep watching that gap to the leader from Tajani. 29.9 seconds. It's not really increasing, is it? Through sector 2 is where it really matters. Tajani is now losing time. So Tajani, the full wet tyres are not gaining on the intermediates right now, and we will keep you up to date if anything changes on lap. But the gap is still increasing from those on the inters to those on the wet, which is only Tajani. Tajani has lost over a second in sector 2 alone in the Alpine, so it's clearly not full wet tyres now. That gap between the top 2, meanwhile, Hazer and Lynx, it's beginning to come down here. 1.4 seconds between the top 2 drivers. Okay, it goes back up to 1.7, but still, oh, what was that, Pesci? I thought for a moment he may have been going into the wall, but either way, he keeps it safe. Wizard takes Filthy Ghost, who is around through the final chicane. Big error from the Red Bull there. Fugo, Coffee and Tabo. Santi also now will draw alongside. Big mistake from the Red Bull driver. And Santi. They are side by side into the source. And has Santi got the place? Yes, he does. And up into P9 goes Judge Santi. But Tajani still losing time. And Tajani is now pitted again. And I think he will either retire or he'll go for the intermediates. Let's see what he does. We are going to go up because I see a battle emerging here between Santi and Ghost once more. Maybe was that a late defence potentially from the Haas driver as Ghost tries to make the move around the outside. Wasn't given too much space, but Santi stays ahead in P9. I'm not sure if it was a late defence in all fairness. It may have been okay. But Tajani has opted for another set of intermediates. It's gone from bad to worse for the Alpine ever since whatever may have happened between himself and Pesci. Only a couple of laps to go. Sadly, it's not worked out in favour of the Alpine driver here. And now he's down in last place on the intermediate tyres. Still that gap between this duo, Hazer and Lynx, is falling at 1.1 seconds. Lynx has a chance here to get a result. If he can get a win, that will be quite remarkable, and that may give him a chance to get back at the championship leaders. because he needs race wins if he wants to get back with Hazer and Pesci for that championship title this season. He does look pretty comfortable in P3 in the championship, but will he get closer after this race towards that top 2 of Hazer and Pesci? It's looking difficult, but he has a chance. And Pesci as well, to be fair, he's not really losing any time now. Merck also has a 5-second penalty to contest with. He will find things difficult down here. And further down, Wizard, Coffee and Tabo as well. They're all about a second away from each other, so they're not really in a battle. But the closest to getting in a battle does seem to be, really, from what I'm seeing, the top 2, Hazer and Lynx. Merck is starting to close that gap towards Pesci, but I don't think he's going to go for anything. Anybody else, again, doesn't really look like it, does it? Tabo is on good tyres up against Coffee. He's got 4 lap fresher tyres, so the Williams has an opportunity here. But he needs, again, you're kind of relying on mistakes now from drivers. With about, what, 5.5 laps remaining here. The top 2, Hazer and Lynx, are pulling clear away from Pesci now. Pesci is under threat from Merck. But again, Merck has that 5-second penalty, so he's not going to gain anything at all to Williams. And at the moment, he will lose a place to the Mercedes of Kennedy. And Kennedy will get his car into the top 4 as things stand. But he may be under threat potentially from Tabo if Tabo can get past Coffee and Wizard. As you can see, a lot more grip from the Williams driver. And let's see now, heading out of turn 16. And we go up through into... And let's see, is he going to go for the overtake here? Because he's got the overspeed. He's got a lot of space there from Coffee. I was a bit surprised Coffee even tried to give him space. In all fairness, and I don't mean that in an aggressive sense, because you can just block off a driver. Oh, what happened there? How was there any contact between Tabo and Coffee? Coffee definitely gave space. As Tabo now receives a 3-second penalty. In all fairness, he did just totally blank out the... There was a corner there. Oh no, he's just made contact with Ghost, didn't he? I think he made contact with Ghost there. I don't really... I'm going to be completely honest. Only from what I saw, I don't think Coffee was at fault for that. But again, that's only what I saw. You know, maybe if I see it slower, I might have a different opinion. But from the one view that I got in full speed, I don't see Coffee doing anything wrong on that one. But again, it's only on the one view right here. Ghost having another look at Tabo. Oh, and he makes it... wow, what a move again. Filthy Ghost, he's done that move down into the final chicane on Judge Santi a few laps ago, and now makes a very similar move on Tabo. Filthy Ghost becoming quite a brilliant overtake from him, and now Tabo has had a spin. The Frenchman not getting the best of things here in these conditions. This is a bit tight between himself and Mr. Poem. Tabo is going to try and get those tyres back up and running. You've got to say, not even to try and warm them up, he's going to have to try and cool them down. You can see that he can spin at any time at this moment because of those 2 spins that he's effectively had. One that may or may not have been his fault. It's difficult to say on the one view. Again, Santi takes Wizard Rex. Wizard Rex may have gone for a spin himself and has dropped a host of places, but Tabo, can he get those tyres cooled down? That is the question. Hazer, meanwhile, has increased the gap to Lynx, now out at 2 seconds. So you may not get a battle for the win here because Lynx piece is not closing enough. But he may be settled for a P2 in this Grand Prix as now Wizard Rex into the pits and Ghost receives a 3-second penalty. Quite something this race, quite something, eh? Let's see what tyres Wizard Rex goes for. Do they think about full wets or are they going to stick with inters? It is still going to be intermediate tyres for Wizard Rex. It will also be a change of front wing for the American driver in the McLaren. So any battle right now, I mean, Pesci and Merck are close together, but obviously with Merck having that 5-second penalty, it does not look like a battle between them. Tabo and Mr. Poem look like the closest to having a battle here. Oh, Destroyer Jack is out in the pit lane, I do believe. The yellow flags, but it is in the pit lane. So no points on offer for the Alfa Romeo of Destroyer Jack. Alfa Romeo not having the best of seasons here. They have been a dominant force largely in UFRL over recent seasons. But this season, it is not going well for Alfa Romeo. They are the basement team, in fact, in UFRL this season. They are a long way from the top 9 in the Constructors' Championship. Every other team are demolishing the reigning UFRL champions. I mean, what has happened to Alfa Romeo this season? It is absolutely crazy, whatever has happened. But it has happened nonetheless. And again, no points in this race for Alfa Romeo. Destroyer Jack has retired from the Grand Prix. The question is now, can Mr. Poem take advantage of Tabo? One thing you've got to say about the Williams steering wheel is horrible, isn't it? What is that for, a steering wheel and stuff? Come on. That is nice. That is... what is that? I've always had a dislike towards that Williams car, especially if you do it in cockpit view, because you can barely see that screen. Maybe Tabo was focused too hard on the screen, because he had a little bit of a spin there, but he's okay. Oh wow. Then again, Mr. Poem follows suit. Whatever you do, I could do it better. That's what Mr. Poem's saying right now. Having a little half spin contest. Let's see who comes out on top in this little battle then, shall we? I think Hazel is going to run away with this victory meanwhile. The gap is over 3 seconds, but Pesci has done himself well. Done himself proud to get himself onto the podium now. Meaning he won't be in the championship lead, but he's not going to be too far away. And here comes Mr. Poem then. He is already alongside Tabo, and they are side by side here. Poem and Tabo has spun. Through goes Poem, and that is no fault of Mr. Poem whatsoever. That spin was all on the Williams. No contact between the pairing into the corner, and Poem sails past. And I think Tabo would likely lose this place towards the onrushing Wizard Rex as well. Wizard may have a look down the inside, but he holds off. It wouldn't surprise me if Tabo spun here, to be fair. He's definitely had a few of those today, and Wizard Rex does edge his car ahead. So let's play a game of bingo. When will Tabo spin again? Where will he spin? And that is the question. How many corners will the Frenchman last before he spins again? Because this is what it's all about now. As Tajani receives another 3-second penalty. I forgot Tajani was still racing, in all fairness. He's down in P12. He was doing well until not too long ago, in fact. But let's see. How long will Tabo last before a spin? Will he go to the end of the race before he spins again? That would be quite remarkable if he could do that. I mean, Tajani will be closing that gap to him. Let's see. When will Tabo spin? This is the question. Or will he? Will he spin or will he not spin? As he heads now into the final chicane. He did have a half spin last lap, but he doesn't have a half spin this lap. No half spin at all from Tabo, and he's looking a bit more neat and tidy really as we head into the source on the penultimate lap. This will be for Tabo. So he's got 2 laps to try and get himself to the end without a spin. Let's see if he can do it. As any other battles going on, there's nothing. No battles here. A potential one coming between Coffee and Santi, to be honest. So actually, we are going to stick with this one. I'm sorry to the bingo players, but we have to move away from Tabo. But we will keep you up to date if there are any spins from the Williams driver, and see if you can win yourself any money from the game of bingo. But either way, back to this one between Santi and Coffee. Has the Hash driver got to move on, exiting out of P1 now and heading through into Campus. And you can see how much closer Santi can get himself to the Dutchman, but can he get his car into the top 6? That is the critical question, with the Alpine just ahead. I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised we haven't got ourselves to full wet conditions in this Grand Prix. I thought we may have done. But one thing that will be happening is that Hazer has started the final lap of the race now. And he has a 4-second lead over the car behind in the form of Lynx P. Santi there had a little look. Had a massive look on Coffee. Cannot get more of a look. He loved the rear of Coffee there. A little love tap from Judge Santi. Cannot get much closer than that. I don't know, maybe he was spelling something a bit fishy, I don't know. Oh, that was audacious. A little bit late on the brakes there, that may give Coffee. If I'm honest with you, Santi, you'll be better off not getting a place here. Because after that contact, I guarantee you that they will go in the stewards room and you would lose that place. Again, there's contact. You don't need to make too many contacts around here. It is a non-contact sport. Yeah, there were, let's say, 3 contacts, I believe, between Santi and Coffee. None of them were the fault of Coffee as well. I will say that much. But Santi has found his way through, but if I'm going to be honest with you, Santi shouldn't have been that close to him in a way. Because of that contact into turn 1, really enabled Santi to have to go and the advantage on Coffee. He should never have been that close going into the Kemmel Straight, if we're being honest. For me personally, if I'm Coffee, I'm sending it in, and I would look in favour of Coffee, if I'm honest. But either way, we'll see what can happen from it. But for me, Santi shouldn't have been as close to Coffee on the Kemmel Straight as he was. Oh, I was going to go down, but up further, but I'm going to go down because Mr. Poem has just taken Filthy Ghost. I do think Tabo, meanwhile, those who are playing bingo, Tabo I do believe must have spun again, because he has lost so much time to Gianni, and he was actually ahead of the Alpine. So Tabo must have spun again, but either way, it will be victory. Finally, he's got another Tier 1 win for Hazer this season, and across the line. Brilliant from the AlphaTauri, dominant drive from him. Lynx Peace takes a superb P2. Pesci holds on for a podium, an unlikely podium at that, for Pesci. Wouldn't have thought it after some of the events in this race, after he lost his front wing especially, to get a podium. Brilliant comeback drive from him. Merck takes P4 despite the 5-second penalty. Kennedy a long way back, P5 for him. And then you got Judge Santi P6, Coffee P7, Poem taken to the line now to get P8. Filthy Ghost will also lose out. Wizard Rex gets the pair of them. Wizard P8, Poem P9, Ghost P10. That was very close between them, although they both finished. Gianni P11 and Tavo will be the final driver. Don't spin out the final corner, he doesn't. He stays straight and he will take to the line, and we will switch to Hazer, who comes away with a Tier 1 win. That is his first win in several weeks, in fact. It may be a surprise to you guys, but Hazer has not won. Just double check when he last took a win. So Hazer's last win came at, is that Monaco? Wow. Yeah, Hazer last won at Monaco, which was, so we've had 6 races since then now, including this one. Brilliant stuff from Hazer there. On the top step of the podium, it is a treble British podium, in fact. An all-British podium. And there you go, Hazer takes the glory in this evening's race. Right, the final results are there for you to see very quickly. I think we only briefly saw them. I do apologise for that. I was just reading some stuff in the Discord chat. But I don't know if we actually did have a look properly at the results, but I know full well the race winner, Hazer. Really good stuff from him. And he did thoroughly deserve to come away with the victory in that one. I do think we may have... Did we just about get these screenshots? Let's see if I did. Either way, if we didn't, we can go to the results screen on the previous one, but did I get it? Is the question. I may not have done, actually. I got the sprint result, but I didn't quite. My screenshot does not show the race result, sadly. But either way, that is the Tier 1 race this evening. Quite eventful. Started in the dry, and then it went into intermediates. There were potential chances to go to full wets, but the race didn't last long enough to go to full wets. But intermediates, we ended on Hazer wins. Well, not again, really, because what is it? It's his third win in Tier 1 this season. But it's a priceless win because he does get he won the sprint, he got pole and quaddy, and there you go, he won the race as well. So brilliant stuff from Hazer, taking near maximum points. It just depends, did he get the fastest lap or not? I'm not sure if he did. If he did, then yes, he would have done. He would have completed the entire Grand Slam. But either way, pole position, sprint win, race win, and that is Hazer on top of the championship. Thank you for watching. I have been Viva F1. We have been UFRL. And we will be back tomorrow night in Tier 2 at Abu Dhabi. Thank you for watching and good night.